Yeah, I'm a 20th century person. I'm not really a 21st century person yet. Okay. So thanks everybody for turning up. This is a really important interview, and I'm just so honored and moved to have Sara here with us today, especially given the really grim state of things back in her home country. And before we started recording, she was telling us that her family is entirely there, that she's the only one that's in Canada. So I just can't even imagine the level of stress you must be under right now. So I really appreciate that you're willing to come and talk to us and try to give us better information and explain to us why Iran is in this situation, and most importantly what you think we can do to help, because I think anyone who's paying attention knows that the Iranian people need help at this point. So why don't you, Sara, give us just a brief rundown, like who are you for people who don't know you, and how did you come to be on this interview? What's your life history in a short bit?
Number one, thanks for doing this, Lierre. I feel like I've been held up and I've been surviving. Sorry, my cat wants to make an appearance in everything. I'm
Kitty cats
sad
are
and
always welcome.
yeah. And
Yeah.
she understands and I'm feeling distressed, so she has to calm me down. Sorry, guys. So I was born and raised in the Islamic Republic of Iran 3 years after the revolution, right at the beginning of an 8 year war with Iraq. And all I remember is death and destruction until they put me in hijab at age 6 and they told me that right now you are an adult and the honor of the family is on your shoulder and you have to take care of everything and be very honorable, very modest. You have to basically serve. That's why you exist. To serve the Ummah, serve the family, which is the bigger Muslim society, serve the family, serve your father, and then serve your husband. And you know right off the bat that you're half a human, you belong to somebody else, you don't have autonomy. And I lived in that country and I never fit. I always say I felt like Alice in Wonderland. I never fit. It felt weird because I was told I'm half a man. And I could see that I was smarter than a lot of those men around me. And it made no sense to why am I half a man? Legally, systemically, culturally, everything. And it's not just one family, it's the whole society looks at you as if you're half. And that was really weird for me growing up, trying to have this cognitive dissonance makes what why? And I thought I go to live in a country that is not like this. And if I feel the same, then I'll go find a doctor and they will try to explain to me what's wrong with my brain. Because I was at the point that I'm either crazy or this whole country of like 80 million people make no sense to me. And I came to Canada and I started talking about my experience, and I was called Islamophobic, racist, bigoted, uh, any word, like I've talked about this before, any word that you can think of, any insult they would hurl at me. And I basically became very quiet and I thought, this is the West. They've been educated. They are inclusive. These are the liberals. This is my tribe. They have to teach me somehow why hijab is uh, feminism and why Islam is acceptable and I should not like why am I Islamophobic for talking about my own experiences? Why am I Islamophobic and racist and bigoted when Islam is not a race? And I'm talking about my own religion. Why is that not valid? And I waited for almost a decade for this to make sense to me because this is my tribe. This is the leftist in the West. I didn't belong in my country. I was so left that I was falling off the side of the world because everything is right wing. And I come here and I'm called the right wing. And it was really confusing. And then Gina Masa Amini died, was murdered by the Islamic regime for improper hijab. And women in Iran started wearing their hijab and cutting their hair off, which is a sign of mourning and grieving. We do that when we are grieving. And I thought, to hell with everybody else, because they're calling these women who are getting murdered by the Islamic regime Islamophobic as well, because they're burning their hijab. And it makes no sense. Like, why are you doing this? Why are you taking the side of my oppressors and my murderers and my enslavers? So I started talking, I started speaking up about my experience, and I started to amplify the voices that are coming from inside Iran during the last uprising in 2022. And Yasmin Mohammed found me, and she invited me to go on her podcast to share my experience as a survivor of the regime. And I've basically not shut up. That led me to Lierre because Goldie found us and invited us to the conference last year. And it was, again, another shock because radical feminists do not include us. Radical feminists do not see us as worthy of solidarity and alliance and working with. And meeting Lierre was like a breath of fresh air that there's this human that is completely far, far away from what I've experienced in life and understands everything. I don't need to explain to her why a crane is triggering to me. She understands when I say there's a crane in this picture and it doesn't work for me. She would be the first person to say there's a crane. There's a problem with this because it reminds me of people being hanged in Iran, and Lierre knows this already. Like there are things that makes no sense that she knows, and it feels like, okay, I have a kindred spirit. I have somebody else who understands. I feel seen. I feel sane again. And we did this conversation with the Wolf sisters a couple of weeks ago. And I felt like it was a lovely experience to come and talk to you guys about what happened to us and how we got to be here. And then the regime started killing my people again. And Lierre wants me to talk to you about that. I hope that answers your question, Lierre.
No, it's beautifully put, and I just have to say I just feel like the horror and shame that feminism has let you down like this. I don't If feminism isn't for women, what is it
What is
for?
it
And if it's
for?
not for like the women, I mean, I just feel like I always try to be conscious of the fact that I have what I have because of all the people who came before me. Like in the West, like all the way back to Magna Carta, people have been fighting to separate church and state and then to establish things like universal human rights and political rights and civil rights. And so we won most of those in
Yeah,
the West. You know, I'm allowed to leave the house whenever I want. I can have a bank account. I can own a house. I can go to school. I can run for president. I can marry a woman if I want. I mean, we have won so many rights. And those were won for us so that we would take them forward. Because of course it's not over. We haven't stopped rape, we haven't stopped battering, we haven't stopped prostitution. We have to keep going. Like we've got these basic building blocks that like, got our legs under us, and now we have to go the final distance here and really stop the horrors that men are doing. Meanwhile, there's, half the women on the planet don't even have the basic stuff that I have. Why
yeah,
would I abandon them there? It's like I don't understand this whole thing. It's just left me as bewildered as you, and I obviously it's going to be way worse for you because you've been through it, but I just sort of more on the sidelines, just like, where has everybody gone? And just the left generally, like, why don't women count as human? Of course, we never do. I mean, we want to think
yeah,
on the left
yeah,
that it's universal,
yeah,
and of course it never is. Like,
yeah,
you come to that conclusion eventually, but at least they make this claim, this pitch that like, no, it's universal. And then like when it comes to women, it's like, no, not really. So I don't know. I just feel very let down by my movement, my tribe, everything that I thought we were all doing here together on this planet. So, I try not to let that stop me because I'm just that person who I'm just very stubborn, honestly. But I was so pleased to meet you and Yasmin, and that you came to our event was just, I mean, I just felt like blessed. Like, how are they coming to our tiny little event in the woods? Like, why would these amazing women even know who we were? And then you came. So
it was
super
mutual.
pumped.
For us,
No,
it was like
it was
magical.
so
It's
much
like
fun to just
they
meet you and
actually
oh,
see us.
I
They
just loved
actually
your
want us.
thoughts. And it was Goldie that did it. Let's give all
Yeah,
praise to
yeah,
Goldie.
yeah.
She was bold enough. I was like, they're not going to know who we are. Why would they come? She's like, well, I'm going to ask. I'm like, well, you go ahead. And then it worked.
Yeah.
So I don't know. You have to be bold sometimes. But anyway, the stuff in Iran, I mean, were we on day 16 now of the
Day
uprising?
16. Day
Yeah.
16 of the
So,
uprising, day 4 of the digital blackout.
yeah.
There's no access to the internet. There are a handful of Starlinks in Iran that people are using to share pictures and videos through, but the bandwidth is very low and very slow. they're being controlled. And then the regime made announcements yesterday that anybody who has a Starlink, they are breaking the laws and they are spies for the Western societies and Western governments, and they're going to be arrested and they're going to be executed. So they are arresting people, and it's interesting. We have day 16 of the uprising. The regime announced today that a man, Irfan Soltani, is going to be executed. He is sentenced to death for his participation in these uprising. Let that sink in.
Yeah.
16 days ago, people came out to the streets, and today the regime announced that the first person that they have sentenced to death and they're going to execute somewhere else. How on earth did you have time? I know we say that the trials are sham trials and they take 10 minutes. How did you have time?
Yeah.
So the first
And
name
it,
came out, they're going to execute him.
the and what I've heard about civilian deaths is I was just trying to catch up this morning, but what I heard was it may be as many as 5,000 people have now been just slaughtered in the
6,000.
streets. Yeah, some
6,000. This is,
it's
and it's
really
a
hard to get a
very
good number
conservative
there. Well,
estimate.
and then
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
ridiculous, the Western media is like 534. I'm like, come on, people. Like, just say you don't know, but it's a lot. Like, it's ridiculous to
How
say a
do you
number that
know?
nobody thinks
Yeah.
is. I know.
Yeah.
It's just kind of hurts my heart. So anyway, it's horrible. I have seen some of the footage. Anybody, you're welcome to go online and look if you want to see people getting shot. You can watch these protesters who are, trying to do their thing, and
Piles of dead bodies, piles of
they
dead
said it's
bodies in black body
piles,
bags. And they say
the
that
body
in
bags.
Tehran, in a handful of hospitals, the doctors are reporting it, and we don't know that, like, the medical facilities, we don't know that the ones who were kidnapped, the bodies, that because they go around, and if there's somebody who's wounded and goes to the hospital, they kidnap them, and we don't know what happens to them. And they have piles and piles of dead bodies. There are videos everywhere, and there are no identifications on these bodies. People who go out, they don't take out an ID with them, they don't take out their phones with them. It's a war zone basically for
Yeah.
people, so they don't want to get identified. So basically, we have around 6,000 dead bodies and 6,000 families who are looking for their people, and they have to go from one black body bag to the next to hopefully see the face that they recognize.
Yeah, I don't, it's bad. I mean, it's just, and I think we all just feel really powerless. If you're aware of the situation, it's just so hard to know what to do. So I've been trying to, listen to different social media people who have like some kind of contact with the people inside Iran. What are they asking us to do? What do they need from us? Is there anything that we can do? And
Yeah.
and there's some suggestions people that put out. I don't know what do you think? Like, what is the best way that, those of us who are Americans, Canadians, English, how do we put pressure? What's the demand, first of all? Do you want there to be military intervention? Trump has said he will do it. And I know he's been
Trump
briefed
also
on
said
different
today
military
that
sites.
I don't know if you saw the video that came out today, that he's standing, I think it's in his airplane, and he says that Iran has reached out, which he means the Islamic regime. It's not Iran, and they want to negotiate, and you're going to have a conversation with them. So he's going to have a conversation with the regime now. This is what he said at this point. I'm like, okay, I don't know anymore. But what people
Is
want from inside
Yeah.
Iran, they want freedom. They want dignity. They want safety. They want stability. They want a government that doesn't export terrorism using their money. Because Hamas is coming out of the Islamic regime's pockets. These are funded by the Islamic regime. Hezbollah is trained by the Islamic regime. It's not just inside Iran. All the countries in the Middle East that are in turmoil, it's the Islamic regime and the IRGC who are doing it. It's our money, my people's money, funding it. They're using people's money to export terror to the rest of the world. And the rest of the world doesn't care. That's the problem. Western countries, we've been here before, Lierre. People keep saying, oh, these are huge numbers. We've never seen them. 2009. green movement, we were out on the streets in millions. The ground would shake under our feet because we were going, like we were walking silent marches, days on end, until they shut down the internet and started killing people. And then Obama sent them crates of money after they reached a deal.
$500 million was what I heard, is what he said.
Yeah,
It was more,
yeah.
something like
We
that.
had
And
woman
now he
life
says,
freedom.
oh, that he says that was the worst mistake of his
I
presidency.
didn't,
Well, a little
yeah,
late. What did you think was going to happen? That's one
yeah.
of the worst regimes on the planet, and he just sent them money.
They just
And then
keep
they laughed
appeasing
at him
these
and kept
people.
building the nuclear. This was the whole thing. It was like he
Yeah,
was going to buy him off, and they weren't going to
yeah,
build the nuclear. And then they went and did it anyway. But,
yeah. Like, are you suicidal? Are you stupid? Because based on the answer, I'd know how to react and how to talk to you at this point. Because honestly, Ria, I'm tired. I'm
yeah, I'm sure you
tired of
are.
being. I don't know if I can come back here again. I don't know, like, because I know the Western governments want somebody in Iran that they can control. They don't care what's happening to the people inside Iran, just the same way they don't care what's happening to Syrians. Jolani is now
Right.
in a tie, and they're shaking hands with him, and he was ISIS. He is
I know.
ISIS.
I know. I
He is
know.
murdering Syrians, and nobody cares.
Nobody cares
Absolutely.
except
The Taliban,
Israel
look at
cares a
what they're
little
doing.
bit. That's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. That's
Israel
it.
helped the
And they're
Druze. That's it.
villainized.
Yeah.
Exactly. And they're
Yeah.
villainized because they care a little bit. Look at the women in Afghanistan. Nobody cares what the Taliban is doing to the people inside. As long as it's people inside, nobody cares. Whatever the regime does to the Iranians, who cares? We were here 3 years ago. 20,000 people were arrested. People are still getting executed for that uprising. 2019, they shut down the internet, murdered 1,500 people in 3 days. Now, like, not a lot of people. They just murdered 6,000 people in 4 days, so they're getting better at it. It's flippant, but honestly, Lear, at this point, like, I can't come back here. I can't do this again. I can't just sit here and beg the whole world to have empathy for my people, to see us as humans. We've been fighting this regime for 47 years. Before the 2019 bloody November and 1,500 people that were murdered in 3 days, we had a movement in 2009. We had a movement in 2017. Then we had one in 2009. Then we had one that was the students of not the uprising, but it was an unrest that happened about 10 years before that. In 1988, they executed about 50,000 people because they just didn't agree with the regime. Like, this has been going on. Women came out on the streets on International Women's Day in 1980. This is how long this has been going on. My people wanted a democracy in 1979. And the Westerners thought, oh, Khomeini is a good choice. They put him in a French airline and sent him to Iran. Edward Said came and just sat there and clapped for him.
Right.
Just think about that. These people have shaped the mentality of the activists in the West. And they just thought, that's normal. Who cares if women are half? Who cares if they can't talk about their political ideologies or that they don't have a freedom of expression? Just because the US hates them, they should be fantastic. Let's shake hands with them. Like, how simplistic is this? That imperialism is not imperialism if the brown people are doing it. Colonialism is not colonialism if the Muslims are doing it. It's only the white people. Like, how
That's something
simplistic
people
are
have
you?
to, we have to break through that. That's exactly what you're, I mean, that's the framework of the left. And it's
Yeah,
never quite said out loud, but you realize when you question it, it's like, oh, I've believed
yeah,
this my whole life. Like,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then it collapses because various things happen in real life. And you're like,
yeah.
wow, I was thinking this. And I can see that I was thinking that, and I didn't even know I was thinking it. And we've just got to find a way to pull the left back to reality here, and feminism certainly, but I mean, what you're describing is just like every 3 or 4 years, the Iranian people have risen up and then they've been brutally crushed. And then they try
Yes.
again, and then they try again, and then they try again. And I hear your exhaustion. I would be exhausted too if my whole life I had watched people do this only to be slaughtered in the streets. There's apparently footage I have not seen. Get ready, everybody. They are power washing the blood off the streets in Tehran. There's so much blood running in some of the
Yeah.
streets.
Yeah.
And I so what do you think would help? Would it help to have American airstrikes? Is that something we're even allowed to say out loud? Would that just make it worse? I, I
Like, here's the deal. Anything at this point, and the first thing they could actually do, because I don't think they would go and do the airstrikes in Iran, because it destabilizes the country and they want the country under control, is it doesn't matter what I want. I want a secular democracy for my country, however we can
Of
get it.
course.
If that
Right.
means setting all the mosques and seminaries inside Iran and outside Iran on fire, I'm all for it. Burn all the Qurans in the world. I don't care if it offends me. I don't really care. But why do we have consulates of the Islamic regime in almost every country in the world? The US doesn't have it because Pakistan is representing them, and Canada doesn't have them because they closed it because they murdered Ziba Kazemi, who was an Iranian Canadian journalist in Iran. And they thought, but there are right now 3,000 IRGC members in Canada, and the government of Canada knows. And IRGC, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, it's not Iran, the Islamic Revolutionary
Okay.
Guard Corps is the terrorist group. It was designated a terrorist group in Canada. They did absolutely nothing other than sign a paper. There are 3,000 members, our family members of the members of IRGC who are living in Canada, and they're living. What? Why? Why are these terrorists on the streets in Canada? I don't understand why there are consulates of the Islamic regime in all the European countries. I think that's fair enough for me to ask, shut it down. Send them home. Stop shaking hands with the mullahs. The French president started talking to Iranian women right after women life freedom because it was fashionable. Within months, they were going back and shaking hands with the mullahs and making deals with them because there's oil and there's gas. And as long as there's oil and gas in Iran, Iran has the second biggest gas reserve and the third biggest oil reserve in the world. And I'm not going to talk about the saffron and the pistachio and the carpets and the rice and nothing else.
Yeah.
Like, we have the one of the biggest reserves, and they want that. If they can put Pahlavi in power in Iran and control that, they'll do it. Who cares if he's a
Let's
dictator?
let's
Yeah,
talk about Pahlavi a little bit because um, it seems to be all over the map with him.
yeah.
I don't know much about him. I just know that there's people like you saying pretty much anything but him, and then there seem to be a lot of people chanting his name in Iran. They just need somebody to help make this transition, perhaps. I know he has like a plan that's, I didn't get a chance to read it. I was going to look at it this morning, and then my dog destroyed my power cord, and I had to go to
Oh,
the store and buy a new one. So that's why I have not read the plan. But apparently, he's got economists and everybody like how to make a smooth transition and let everybody vote on the kind of government they want.
there's no
I know
voting.
you think he's
He's the king.
feckless.
He's the
Yeah,
king.
okay.
In that document, he says, I'm going to be the king and I'm going to take over and I'm going to take control. And he's been all over, like, if he had the ovaries to actually do this, to prove me wrong, for once in your life, to whatever God you believe, do something to prove me wrong. I don't understand. Like, number one, Iranians deserve to have a democracy. It's insulting to me that people keep coming back and keep saying Javid Shah without knowing what it means. Westerners are joining this, like, this is a fad now. They are either romanticizing it or they have this memory of it or they think it's a dictatorship. I'd rather die than be a subject of another king. We have kings in Iran, they just have turbans. I don't want another king. I want a secular democracy for my people. They deserve not to have this monarchy recycled and shoved down their throats. by everybody. And people are looking for a symbol. People are looking for a leader, and we don't have that leader because our leaders are currently buried 6 feet under, or they are in Evan prison.
Right.
Open the prison. Let the people come out. Let people go out. Everybody says, who's your leader? My leader is democracy. I don't need one person to rally behind. There are thousands and millions of Iranians right now out on the street. They deserve to have a chance at a democracy. And Pahlavi has historically flip-flopped between every single campaign that has come out.
Right.
There was a point during the Green movement that he had this green wristband, and he said he would work with Musavi, who was the leader of the Green movement, to reform the regime. This is the son of the previous dictator in Iran who wants to reform the regime that overthrew his father. And then they had this coalition 3 years ago after Regina was murdered. And he wanted to be the king of that coalition. And he left the coalition and disappointed a lot of people. And there's a video of him. I can send you the video that says, why are people out on the street getting killed and getting shot at? You should go home. Let me deal with it. Let me do this. So people went home. You want to guess what he did? Nothing.
Nothing, right? Because here
He
we
has
are.
done absolutely nothing. And right before Maduro was arrested and brought to the US, he was talking about how the US should strike. And Israel is a great ally for having done the 12-day war and the strikes that happened in Iran during. And then they removed Maduro, and Trump said, no, I don't want that woman who is, I don't know I don't remember her name, Maria something, something. I don't want her to be the leader of Venezuela. I'm going to put somebody in place and I'm going to control the country myself. So Pahlavi did an interview with, what is it called? SJW. There's a journal. I'm going to send you the link for that
Is
as
it the
well.
Wall Street
Sorry.
Journal?
Wall Street Journal, I
WSJ?
think,
Yeah, yeah.
WSJ. He did that interview with
Yeah.
that, in which he, number one, said he's going to forgive all the IRGC members preemptively. So he's waiting for them to do the coup for him. He doesn't want the Western governments to strike Iran. He doesn't want any kind of involvement from the Western governments because people in Iran are going to take care of it. And he also called Iran a raped woman. He
Jesus. All
says
right, right.
that women who get assaulted will never be the same, and Iran is like a raped woman. And I'm sitting there thinking, this is the leader of your opposition? Somebody who is very close to Trump, and he's also another dude who does these podcasts that I don't follow and I don't listen to. But he's also Iranian American. Men, I don't listen to men anymore, sorry. I just know he did.
It's
He came
perfectly
on and
understandable.
he said that he had messaged Pahlavi and told him I can connect you with Trump so that you could go to Mar-a-Lago and talk to him and figure out something. And he was left unseen. He didn't even respond to this dude. Like he's all over the place. He's been a pressure valve for the regime right off the bat. All these years, he on this planet and any other dimension that he has the ovaries to actually do something this time. I'm that desperate right now.
Well, what do you think, like, one, two, three, what do you think are things that we could do to help this situation? Do you want us out on the streets protesting? Do you want us to go to the Pakistan embassy where Iran has their little cubbyhole and protest in Washington, D.C.? Do you want us in Europe out on the streets? What do you want us to pressure our governments to do? Is there, can we send things? What,
No,
gather
you
material,
can't.
like what we
Yeah,
all feel so powerless. Is there anything we can do to help except just, I mean, trying to spread the word, but there's got to be more. We have so many resources at our fingers as Americans. You need more Starlink, obviously.
yeah. But
Yeah.
beside that, I don't want to be pessimistic and talk about after because there will be an after and people are going to need help. And I just don't want to think about that after because I'm just hanging on by a thread at this point, and I'm just, if you are sharing things on social media, Instagram, Twitter, whatever, please, please, for the love of God, make sure whatever you're sharing is verified and blurred. Because if you're sharing something with faces showing the government is going to arrest and kill these people, and if you share something that is false, because this is one of their methods, this is the propaganda that the regime, that they play games. They release videos from 3 years ago or 5 years ago, and then they come back and say, oh, this video is fake. And this video is fake. Therefore, all the other 100 videos that you have of these past 16 days is fake. I saw a video of, and I told you about this already, of somebody, of all the women who've been murdered during the woman life revolution, woman life uprising, and there's like 25 different faces, and 10 of them are still alive. They might be in prison, they might be activists, but they are alive. And that's disinformation that the regime uses and say, this one is alive, this one is alive, this one is alive. As a result, everybody else is alive. They don't care that Nika Shakarami's face is in that video. So verify, amplify, verify, blur the faces. You don't need fake videos. We have so many videos coming outside from out inside Iran. They can just spread those, amplify those voices. And if you actually have any power, I can't imagine, Lierre, honestly, I can't imagine anybody would have the power to do anything against this regime. But if you have any power, make the regime pay. Shame them. If you have people who travel to Iran as your representatives, women, make them not wear hijab. Because it's insulting, it's dehumanizing, and then the regime says, look, this person is coming from the UN and she's wearing hijab and she thinks
Right.
this is the end of like all respects that she could get. You should be grateful that we are making you wear hijab. It's a betrayal. I don't have any answers for you. I can't think, like,
Okay.
I honestly cannot think of what we can do. I want to go back to Iran. I want to be on the streets in Iran and I want to set mosques on fire inside Iran.
Yeah.
We can't do
Sorry.
that though.
It's so grim. And
I know.
I'm just,
I
it's
know.
really overwhelming. And it's not even like I said, it's not even my family. It's just, I wake up at 1 in the morning and like, I got to check the news. How bad is it? And then I wake up at 4, like, check the news again. And I just want to see, it's like, are we going to have the Berlin Wall or is it going to be Tiananmen Square again? And it's just Tiananmen Square over and over again in Iran. Um, there just has to
I
come a
feel like
moment
I'm
though where
living
it,
in a tragedy. That's how I
Mhm.
feel right now. I feel I'm living in a tragedy and everybody else is living in a farce.
Right.
That's how it feels to me right now. Because I know there are happy endings. I know there are countries where revolutions actually work and people become independent and things get better. But not in my universe, not in my lifetime. And I'm sorry I don't have anything positive to say right now. I
You
don't,
don't have to have, and do not apologize for the state that you are in. It is perfectly reasonable to feel in much despair and trauma as you are in. It's probably not even
I
fair to
want to
ask you to
have
come on.
answers. I want to have
Mhm.
answers to give you. I want to give you solutions, but I honestly don't even know what we can do. The level of disarray that this opposition was in was that they didn't even have hashtags prepared for the time regime starts killing people. They knew the internet would be cut off.
Yeah.
They had not prepared for that. All they needed was 1,000 starlings being imported or smuggled into Iran. They did not prepare for that. And we had the exact same thing 3 years ago.
Right. I was reading about that. They did the same thing. They did a national blackout, and then just immediately started killing people and just creating that kind of terror because, of
Yeah,
course, it couldn't be broadcast. So the moment that they turn the internet off, you just feel that creeping sense of dread, like, oh, here
I
they go
know.
again. They're
I
just going to
know.
do it all over again, aren't they?
I know.
So,
And you can't talk to people about this. You can't because people feel uncomfortable. People don't want to sit in their grief. People don't want to face this desperation that we are feeling. And they are looking at clickbait and they're looking at like hype, people who are spreading propaganda, and they're like, I'm not content. My people
Mm.
are not content for your
Right.
Instagram feed. Stop. Stop pontificating about what might happen or what could happen. Or there are people who talk to me said, and I know it comes from a place of caring, and I know it comes from a place of love, and it's like, maybe you should do this. Maybe you should do that. Maybe you should make a video to educate people about this. And I lost it yesterday. I started yelling at someone like, I don't care what the Westerners think at this point. I don't have the energy to educate people in the West and beg for them to see my humanity. I'm tired. You want to do it? Do it yourself. Why are you asking me to do it? I haven't been able to talk to my mom in 4 days. I don't even know if my mom is still
Still
alive.
alive. Yeah.
My cousins, my friends. All I want is a second check mark to come on my Telegram or Insta or my WhatsApp so that I know the message went through.
Yeah.
And you're sitting here telling me, why isn't the UN doing this? Maybe we should have a campaign and do this. I don't care at this point because the UN doesn't care about me. If you have not grasped that much in all your life so far, or all these whataboutism deflection, where is Greta? Where's Ruffalo? Where is this person? Why did that person say that? As if like I'm not cannon fodder for you guys. You want to prove a point? We all know what the point is. They didn't care about us to begin with. Why would they care about us now? You want to prove that they are hypocrites? What does that, how does that help me? How does that help my people? I don't care what Greta is doing. Instead of wasting my time and my energy talking about Greta, talk about the people of Iran. Why is everything a comparison for everybody? You did this for Palestine. Why aren't you doing this for Iran? I don't care. I never cared about Palestine. Palestine has always and always been a goal for the Islamic regime. It's against that everything we stand for. People who are against the regime are also against Palestine. The majority of us who have not drank the Kool-Aid, because we understand how the regime uses Palestine. The money that goes into Palestine and Lebanon and Syria and everything else, instead of spending that money on our people. It's only and only to kill the Jews. It's not even to help Palestine. The regime doesn't care about Palestine. They just want to kill the Jews.
This took me so long to understand because it's so insane to my mind, to I think to the mind of most people who live somewhere like America. Um, and I remember stumbling across the information about there's like this doomsday clock where they're
Mhm.
counting down until all the Jews are
Yeah,
dead.
yeah,
And I was like, this can't be real. Come on.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
I looked into it. I'm like, no, this is real. It's like iconic,
Yes,
the way the Golden Gate Bridge is iconic or the Empire State Building. They are literally counting down until they kill every last Jew. And
yeah,
then guess what? They do want to come for the rest of us too. Like
yes,
they've got
yeah,
that saying, first the Saturday people, then the Sunday people. And
yes,
they mean it. It's like it just absolutely blew my mind. And there's no place for this in the like in that sort of lefty world that I have inhabited for most. Like there's no acknowledgement that this is real and they mean it. Like it's this level of insane hatred for people who live 1,300 miles away and really have nothing to do with them. Um, and so then you sort of get into why and this whole like restorationist kind of, version of Islam that yeah, they think the Jews are responsible for their downfall, and the world will
yes,
not be restored to paradise until every last Jew is killed, and that's there in like their holy
yeah.
scriptures. And it just blew my mind when I finally had to realize that this was true, that this is in fact part of their worldview. Like it's not just like one crazy guy, ranting on a subway somewhere.
No,
Um,
this is part of the ideology that you have to kill the Jews, and there will be a time where the trees will say or the stones will say, there's a
There's
Jew
a Jew
hiding behind
behind me.
me.
Come and kill him. I was like, this is somebody's sacred text. Are you
That's
serious? And it is.
yeah, yeah. That's
And it's in the charter, the original
and
charter
that's
from
the
us. They quote that.
of yes, yes. And here's the thing, all the people sitting in the West in their high towers thinking, oh, you don't understand. All you have to do is just be kind to them, and you can educate them, and you can change them, and you can be allies with them, and you can have the same goals as them. You're going to just destroy imperialism and colonialism. They think if they're kind enough, that's the pick me mentality. You think the
Yeah.
Muslims will not come for you? You think they won't kill you? You think they came for me because I wasn't kind enough? How about
Well, of
it?
course, we're going to get called racist now for having had
I
this
know.
discussion, and
Yeah,
they're going to call
yeah,
us Islamophobic and all the rest
yeah.
of it. But I'm
Here's the
kind of
thing.
done with it. I'm just done
I'm
with it. Go
actively
ahead and
Islamophobic
call
now.
me names. Yeah.
I'm actively Islamophobic now. It's not a phobia. And I've talked about this so many times, I feel like I'm just a broken record, but it's not a phobia. There's nothing irrational about my fear of Islam. If I go back to Iran, I get murdered for being an ex-Muslim because there's an instructional manual in the Quran that says if you go back from the religion, find them and kill them. And they will kill me. Iran is one of the 12 countries that has death penalty for apostates.
Yeah, I want people to understand this. Like, because this is another one of those moments where like I can't believe this is true. It's been
Yeah,
so not true in the West for like 1,000 years that it's
yeah,
not even a part of my world that this could be true.
yeah,
And then you meet people who actually live with that kind of fear. It's like, no,
yeah,
my dad is supposed to kill me now. I'm
yeah,
just like, what? Because you changed your
yeah.
religion? Are you serious? Like, we shop for religions all the time here. Like, oh, I'll try to be a
You're
Quaker.
not
Okay, I'll go to the
you're not
Unitarians. I'll
allowed
try.
to
You
even
can't. They will
change. You
kill you.
yeah,
There's
yeah,
like literally women who get, and men too, who get
yeah,
killed
yeah.
because they don't want to
In
be Muslim
Iran,
anymore.
they execute even if they want to be Muslim, but they want to reform the religion. They want to take away what they call the superstition or the old beliefs, which is part of the religion. Somebody was executed in Iran because he said the story of Jonah in the body of the whale is an allegory. It's not a
Of
literal,
course, it's
like
an
this
allegory.
is in the Quran and it's an allegory. They hanged
Right.
him,
Oh,
Lear.
yeah. Oh, God. Right.
They
I
hanged
mean,
him for saying that.
terrible things like this did happen in Christianity, but it was a long time ago.
Like
I mean,
13th
we
century,
got
maybe?
over it. Yeah,
Yeah,
like we got over it.
yeah.
Like we don't do that anymore around these parts.
But the thing is,
And
Islam
I
is stuck in the 7th century. We are not
Yeah, and
allowed to
that and
reform.
they're
We
not
are not
allowed
allowed
to reform. The
modernize to
book is
change.
whole as it is, and you're not allowed to question it. And that is where the whole
It's the
thing
word of
just,
Allah, word by
yeah,
word. He decided
I
I'm
love it.
half human. I inherit half. My husband can beat me if he fears that I rebel. There's a whole surah about how women are half and why there should be a gender apartheid. And all these Westerners thinking, oh, I'm a Muslim now. I'm going to wear hijab. This is so
Oh
cool. Ha
God,
ha ha
right,
ha ha. I read the Quran and it says that it's a feminist book because it says my husband should pay me. Like, have you not heard of alimony?
right.
What's wrong with you people?
I don't know. I'm trying to give them some courage here. If I can do nothing else, at least I can try to get other women who claim to be feminists to have the
Yeah,
courage to stand up and face how bad this is. And I mean, it's not even theoretical. There's like
yeah,
56 countries that are more or less controlled by this ideology, and it is
yeah,
horrible for women there. And then,
yeah.
they get more maternity leave in Saudi Arabia than America. Like, okay, they also can't leave the house. So,
And their
I
husband can marry another three wives
another
beside
woman or two
them.
or
Yeah,
three. Yeah,
yeah.
okay. And
Then
then sell
they
off
can't
his
even
daughters.
drive, like they can't go shopping. They
Yeah,
can't go grocery shopping without their son or their male guardian.
with them.
I
So
am a 43-year-old woman who has a male guardian.
it's horrifying.
Let that sink in.
Yeah. And I want everybody listening to think about the men in your life. Think about your dad. Think about your brother. Who would you want to be in control of your life? Maybe
Yeah,
you get
pick one.
lucky and you have a
Yeah,
really nice dad.
yeah,
Okay. Maybe you don't. Maybe you have
yeah,
a dad who beat the shit out of your mother and molested you. He's in
yeah.
control of your life until he marries you off, and you have no say about where you go from there. Oh, and you're 13 years old. Anyway, no, this whole thing just makes me furious, and it is hard to get over it. I get it. We will be called names for saying these things out loud, but it's the least we can do for what's happening
I
to
welcome the
women.
names. Yeah,
We have to be willing to face this
yeah,
down. We just
yeah.
do. So we're just going to have to be brave here and get called names. Poor us.
And
Um,
anybody who calls you racist for criticizing Islam, just remind them that Islam is not a race.
right? Yeah, there's one good one.
Stop with
It's an
these
ideology.
fallacies. Yeah,
It's an
Islam is a
ideology. Yeah,
religion.
you're
Like
allowed to
there's
question it.
yeah.
Yeah,
And if you can't question Islam, if you can't question ideologies, if this is you're in the 21st century. Like if you can't use your freedom and if you can't use everything that all the previous generations have fought to give you to help those women, don't do anything. Don't help. Don't shut us down.
right.
Don't tell us that you are in the wrong for talking about this. Don't tell us that we are Islamophobic. Don't call us names and we are trying to liberate ourselves. I don't expect everybody to be like you, Lierre. I don't expect everybody to be like Goldie. I don't expect everybody to be like Emily and understand what a gender apartheid is. But if you don't understand it, at least don't shut us up. Let us
Sure.
talk about our own oppression. Let us talk about our own fight for dignity. You can't champion us? Oh, I understand. A lot of people don't have the courage. A lot of people choose not to capsize the boat. I set the bridge I'm standing on fire just to prove the point. And I understand I've lost the plot a lot at this point. But do not tell us that we are in the wrong for wanting to be humans with autonomy and dignity and freedom. I think we can expect that much from people in the West.
So we've taken almost an hour of your time. I don't see any actual questions. I see some good commentary in the chat, but I don't see any questions. If anybody wants to say anything to Sarah, I'm just going to open the floor here. Raise your hand if you can do the little yellow hand thing, or if you can't find the button, which I totally get. Just do this, and I will pay attention to who's waving their hands. If you want to ask a question or if you've got a comment, just even a word of support. It's what she's going through is a lot here, and
Thank you.
it's hard. She needs to
Emily's
hear from
hand
us.
is up.
Emily, of course. Emily, go ahead.
Hello. I was
Hi.
drying my hair while you were speaking. I look slightly more presentable. I just wanted to say, Sarah, that you and Yasmin, for me, are two of the most important feminists in the world right now. You really are. I get full of emotion whenever I speak to you, whenever I see you, whenever I see anything you post. I follow you like a groupie. I repost every single thing that you post like a lunatic. My friends are like, God, you really like that person. I'm like, yep, you better fucking listen. So I am jumping up and down, screaming all over LinkedIn, posting and posting everything I possibly can. It was Iranian women actually at the World Bank who slapped the shit out of me when I was doing my, I used to work for the Guardian. I then became a development economist. I was all about, it's people are allowed to wear hijab and it's nice and it should be good and blah 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 and all that crap. And they said, "What the fuck are you on about? Do you know what you're saying?" It was my Iranian female colleagues who schooled me, and thank God I was humble enough to listen. And ever since then, I've been saying the same things that they taught me that, um, Islam is not a race. It's not, I don't even really consider it a religion. I did refine Catholicism in a weird way when I was faced with a lot of evil in my everyday work, but I don't know whether that's here nor there. But I would say to you that I think people do care. I think there's a load of fucking morons on the left for sure. And I come from the left, which is why I feel very empowered to scream at them and take them on their own shibboleths because I know how to dissect and take the power out of what they're saying. I think Americans were very scarred by Afghanistan and Iraq.
Mm,
Yeah.
I live in Central America. I've seen a lot of similar commentary on Venezuela. Like, why do we care about Venezuela? Nobody understands the connection between Venezuela and Iran and
No, right.
the
Yeah.
oil, right? And you know, is it all going to go wrong? We're going to go in there again, and we're going to screw up, and we're going to waste all this money. So I think it's very important for us to get the message out that Iranians are not Arabs. Islam was not the religion of Iran. You guys are Persian. You were Zoroastrians. You had a long and beautiful, and I think you even invented economics, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Important history, and this was a blip, essentially. And you absolutely can get rid of these mullahs. I think this time you can. Maybe I'm over optimistic. I think Venezuela also is going to become democratic. Maybe I'm overly optimistic, but that's the message that I'm certainly pushing. Because Trump is in the White House, and I really don't care if people hate him. Everybody hates him in England. I was just in England and everyone's like, Donald Trump. I'm like, you think Donald Trump's worse than the mullahs? You think he's worse than Maduro? Like, shut the fuck up in your Western privilege that you can, you know, posit him as the bad guy. So for me, Trump is a very key, important difference this time around. I think his statements have been very important. I also follow it, you know, when he said that he will intervene. I think that's right. Obviously, I don't know. I can't predict, but it feels to me like it's different than the Obama era where he said, "Oh, you're very naughty," and then gave them a bunch of money. That's not going to happen
Yeah.
this time. So I'm with you. I'm praying for you. I'm amplifying your voice. I'm getting in lots of trouble with my lefty friends who think I'm a horrible Islamophobic bigot. I do not give a fuck. But who cares? People calling you names. I don't have to stand in a street against people firing bullets at me because I won't wear a hijab. This is the
Yeah.
least that we can do. And I think that courage calls to courage. And if we all, you know, all of us women stand together and keep pushing out this message, it does have an effect. People don't, you know, people don't on my LinkedIn say, oh yeah, you're right. But they do come back around and message me privately and say, oh, it's interesting that you said that. And why do you think that? So you just have to, we Western women have to keep pushing this message because Sarah's tired, understandably. It's our job. And it's our job to talk to our politicians, to talk to our local Congress people, to talk to our local universities, to the young people in our lives, because young people are also completely, you know, deluded on this issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I do dream of a free Iran. I think it would be one of the most important historical events since the fall of the Berlin Wall, which I remember. I was 48. I'm 48. It fell when I was 11. And I remember it was such a game changer. It will happen, Sarah. It will. It has to. And I love you and I stand with you. And thank you for talking to us today. I really, really appreciate it. And if there's anything else you think we can do, email us. I'm in Central America now. Otherwise, I'd be out with all the Iranians in Washington, D.C., because there's a big cohort.
Yeah.
Here, it's odd. But other than that, I'm writing about this a lot and posting, and that's all, you know, we can do.
I appreciate you beyond words, Emily. Like, and I've said that before. It feels like right now I'm just alive by the grace of people who've never met me, who've never even talked to me, and they send me messages about hope and freedom, and I'm sitting there thinking, maybe just because you hope it might happen. Because at this point, all I can think about is 6,000 dead bodies on the streets of Iran. And that breaks
Yeah.
my heart, and it breaks my heart, and I don't know what to do with that heartbreak anymore. So I appreciate you, even the fact that like you take initiative, the fact that Lierre says, "Do you want to come talk to the Wolf Sisters?" I'm like, sure, yeah. You don't have to do this. It is just 1 hour of your afternoon that you guys don't have to be here. You don't have to record this. You don't have to spread the word. Like, or you messaged Lierre and said, let's spread this document amongst the sisters so they know what
That's
the
amazing.
history is.
Yeah.
Like the fact that you take
Beautiful.
initiative and I don't even, and I sat there, like, I was so dumbfounded. Like, there are people who actually care. And it's a new feeling to me, Emily. I need you to understand that this means the world to me. that you guys are actually doing this. I know I sound hopeless and helpless at this point, but you guys are keeping me alive. I make
You
short
don't sound
videos.
hopeless. You sound strong. You sound strong, and you
I'm
know
not
you're
Very
like
trying.
inspired,
I've
but
And
I've
you
been
strong.
crying
you
for
keep
2 days
Kate,
in
you're
excellent.
allowed
two
to
Keep
interviews.
cry.
fucking crying. Cry.
It's
Crying is
okay.
excellent. It gets, crying is useful, and you
Not on
keep
camera
posting and
when
you
people
keep
are
posting.
watching.
It's all right. Who gives a shit?
We can
It's
cut it
fine.
out if you need to as well.
Oh no,
We
it's
have the
okay.
edit function and I know how to use it. So anything you want cut out of this, you don't have to let 1,000 people
We
see it.
cry, we swear, we smoke cigarettes, we keep posting, we keep doing, we do everything that we can. This is nothing for Lierre and I. I mean,
I'm
I
sitting
just
in this
I
perfectly
wish I could do
wonderful living room
more.
with
Yeah,
dogs, just having a sunny day, drinking my tea.
yeah,
It's like, this is nothing. I spend an hour talking to some cool women. That's the least I can do. Like, it's nothing
I
at all. It's
appreciate you
actually kind of
guys.
fun. So
I'm
I
gonna tell my
this is
kids.
not a
I'm gonna tell my
sacrifice.
kids what I did today, and I'm gonna talk to them. I have four stepsons, and I'm gonna tell them I spoke to you. You are one of the
Yeah,
most important feminist leaders
that's
in
right.
our modern world. You are,
That's
Sarah.
right.
You really are.
Yeah,
You and
you are.
Yasmin.
Yeah,
And the women of Iran. My God, they're showing us up in the West.
yeah, yeah, they are.
I
Glad
want
that
to
we
be
had
there
their
right
courage.
now. I just want to be like that's the only thing. I watch the videos and I want to be there. I
Yeah.
want to be there on the streets in Iran. I just want to be there. I
You have a
don't care what
role. You have a
happens to
role.
us.
You have a role where you are. You really have a role where you are. You're a very strong voice. We need you posting. We need you in bloody Canada. Jesus, Canada's as bad as England on this issue. Although I did see the guy in pull down the flag
The
outside the Labour
flag.
embassy.
That is
Yes,
going to be iconic.
that
That's
was
going to be one of
Yeah,
those
awesome.
things. That's going to be
yeah,
like Tank Man. Like we're always going to
yeah,
remember that we saw that. That was the
yeah.
cool. I don't know who he is, but that was the
Yeah.
coolest thing.
You Iranians in the diaspora are excellent. In DC, in London, in
I
LA,
appreciate
in
that.
Canada. It's very important the work that you're doing because your friends and neighbors, your Western friends and neighbors who don't really know what's going on. You can teach them. I do think more people care than that it feels like, but they just don't really know what
How to express it.
how to
Yeah,
express it, what they
yeah.
should be saying, what they really should want. I think Donald Trump should go bomb Iran. Doesn't sound like a great idea, off the bat. I think it sounds great because I'm very
Yeah.
pleased what happened in let's go do that 28-minute exfil that happened in Venezuela.
Venezuela.
28 minutes.
Yes,
28
yes.
And
minutes.
Do
nobody
that.
died.
Do that. Do that.
Nobody
Get all
died. It was
exactly.
like,
Just
yeah.
pick
Nobody died
five
apart
different
from a
people and
bunch of Hezbollah assholes and
do
Cuban
that.
mercenaries.
Yes.
Am I
Do that.
crying over them? Boo hoo, no. Let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I
All right.
know.
There's two more questions, so we're going to move on. Thank you so much for that, Emily. It's really appreciated. So then Callie is up next, and then Nancy. Oh, you're muted. Can you unmute or did you? Okay, we
There we
got it.
go. Sorry, I thought I got them both. Hi, Sarah. I've followed you. I'm a fan as well. I was excited when I saw this was going to happen. It's like an honor to get to listen to you, and I appreciate the video you made for us and everything. Um, I mean, obviously, I wish that we could be talking about solutions and what we can do and things like that, but it sounds like, we've shot that around and there's, it's pretty frustrating. And I will bump Emily by saying that just that it is really hard with the mentality out here. I mean, I learned over the holidays that my mom thinks Netanyahu's the whole problem over there. And if he
Oh,
would just stop being, so genocidal, then, and it was so hard for me to have a holiday. I was like,
oh
please,
God.
I really need you to understand this, Mom. You've been I thought you were a feminist. And anyway, it's I feel so alone sometimes, and so it's so nice to hang out with people who comprehend and have critical thinking skills. And then I'm going to ask a goofy, but it's not, I don't think it's a goofy question really. And I feel like you live in the heart of, I hate, my first thing that I commented in the chat, I was just saying how I've been thinking about evil um, for a while, and the concept of evil. I always thought that was like a dumb thing, like, oh, there's good and evil and it's a battle and that's so basic and
Yeah.
everything. And I kind of always thought that was a really like simplistic and stupid way to look at the world. But since October 7th and this whole dive we've taken into thinking so much about the Middle East, and I've always been, I mean, I remember joining an atheist group a few years back, and I tried to connect, and it was so strange because they had no problem mocking Christians. And as soon as I would say, but what about, like, like the worst one,
Hmm.
like the one
Hmm.
that, like, did 9/11 and things like that. And I was shocked because they would so, I have some neighbors and friends who are Muslim and they're really nice. And it was like, like I was being this,
Anecdotes. Yeah. Yeah.
Islamophobic freak and all this. And it's like, okay, I'm sorry, I don't mean to ramble so much, but I have tried to understand why nobody seems to comprehend. I consider like Iran to be like run by like the most evil, like that's like the pinnacle of evil in the world to me. I mean, I know that, Putin, and there's a lot of horrible stuff in the world, but I really am afraid of Iran, like in a way of that compares to nothing else. Like that is like a center of evil. And I feel like if you live there, you are like you are so close to it. I mean, when I think about the level of like the propaganda that comes from the evil, where they will just lie and lie and lie upon, and they're so calculated. They know they're lying. They're making fake, Pallywood videos. What like it's insane the levels of lies that
Yeah.
they will
Yeah.
build on, knowing that they are lying. And all I'm seeing is like what we see from the outpouring of that over here in LA. But you like live at what is it, the head of the snake, or what it was the term, like that you live like right in the center of that. When you encounter this and see the depths of this kind of mentality, this evil, I don't know what else to call it anymore. What do you ever kind of contemplate or think about like where, I mean, obviously, there's the oppression of women, there's the hatred of Jews, the other, the all that, but like where is this evil sort of forming, coming from, spreading? Like how is it so strong and black and like terrifying? Like what is it to be so close to that? I know it's a strange question, I guess, but
No,
just
no, I love your question because as you said, I feel about like this is the belly of the beast,
yeah.
and I'm stuck in it, and I despair, and I feel crazy. And of course, I gaslight myself because it's not possible that 40 million women are okay with it and they're going with it. And I'm the only one who feels like I don't want to have a male guardian who allows me to get a passport or gives me permission to go to school or to marry me off to my husband who's going to be my next male guardian. Like I don't want that. And this we don't talk about it because talking about it is blasphemy and apostasy and you get killed. So you're always silenced by your mothers, by your sisters, by any woman in the family. They pretend that it's okay because they know if you start rebelling, you could get killed. And honor killing is so normal, nobody talks about it anymore. It's just honor killing. Fathers would kill their daughters if you start rebelling. And the government would not punish them. They don't go to prison for murdering their daughters. Husbands don't go to prison for murdering their wives because they dishonored the family and they were just restoring family's honor by murdering us. And you grow up in it and you feel like this must be the truth. This must be what is good in the world. And you are the crazy one because you don't understand why or how this works. There's a system, it's been in place for hundreds of years now, for around 2000 years, 1400 years. It's Islam, and they tell you this is the word of Allah, And Allah has decided that you have to go forth and you have to give birth to children, and you don't have to have consent. You don't get consent, so marital rape doesn't exist in Islam. You belong to your husband. You are the tilth, you are the farmland. He'll come in, he'll just sow his seeds, you'll go give birth. You don't have bodily autonomy, you don't have abortion. At age 6, they put you in hijab and they tell you that now you're responsible for the honor of the family. I'm trying to create this picture for people who have never lived in this country or in this system to understand that questioning it would lead to your death. It's either your father that kills you, or grandfather, or your male cousin, or I don't know, your uncle. Or if they don't do that, the government has spies everywhere. And they will arrest you and they will execute you. And there was a time that they would rape women who were virgins the night before their execution, because virgins go to heaven if they get killed. So the officers in the prison would go in, rape the woman, pay her or her family a little bit of money as marriage portion so that she wouldn't be a virgin going to heaven after she's executed. One of my first memories, one of my core memories, is that we had mass graves in Iran and they executed about 50,000 people in the summer of 88. I was 6 years old. So you grow up thinking this is the norm. And it took me Yasmin repeatedly telling me, just because it's normalized, it's not normal. This is actual violence. I couldn't even form the thought that hijab is violence against me. I thought I'm asking for too much when I'm asking for bodily autonomy, for respect, for freedom, for safety. Even in the West, even now when Lierre says, do you want to come talk to us about it? I feel like I don't have the right. I'm taking up your time and your space. And my country is on fire. And I have to talk to myself and remind myself that that's not right. That's not true. These women actually want to listen to you. These are your people. You can at least feel safe for an hour. Because the way I think about this, Kelly, it's just, I've been in therapy for 7 years. I'll be in therapy for the rest of my life because I'm a fixer. I'm an overdoer. I keep thinking I have to do as much as humanly possible just to prove my worth to be here. I don't deserve to be here just because I am. I have to do something. I have to be something. I have to be of value to exist. And I don't know if women, your listeners would understand how debilitating it is, how demoralizing it is. That as a human, I don't feel like I'm really intelligent, Kelly. I'm competent. I know what I'm doing. I know how I'm doing. I know the amount of work I'm doing every day. I know what I'm managing. But at the back of my mind, there's that voice that says, you're not worth it. You're half a man. Shut up. Sit down. You don't deserve to be here. And I have to fight with that voice every single day, every single hour. It changes who you are.
It sounds like a cult, like
It is. It
I mean,
is. Yeah.
your therapist. I would imagine it's like deprogramming, right?
Yes. Yes.
You have to go
Yeah.
through those same, yeah.
And here's the
So
thing, we
sorry.
had an interview with Amanda Knox on Yasmin's podcast a couple of months ago, and she was talking about how when she came out of prison, she had to go back to before, and then how it was that there was that cognitive dissonance and the change and everything else. And Yasmin and I were talking about this, how we don't have a back to go to. I can't revert to something like I have to dismantle everything, unlearn everything, and then learn everything from brick by brick. I have to build who I am, my own identity. and be careful that it is healthy and it's right, and I don't become evil just because I'm reacting to evil, and I'm not living because I'm reacting to Islam. A lot of people tell me, you hate Islam and you hate Muslims. I couldn't care less about Islam and Muslims if they didn't want to kill me. Stop trying to kill me. Let me live my life. I'll go live my I'll just be on my couch with my cat, sipping my tea, watching a stupid TV series. I won't be even reading anything to just, I don't know, inculcate myself and have, oh, hi baby. Hello.
Oh,
Oh, beautiful. Oh my God, that was precious. Thank you. Oh, Lierre's dog is there. Oh my God, this is beautiful.
wait, I've got
See,
another one
this is what
too.
I want.
This
Oh my
good
God.
dog.
Hello. Hi.
Oh, that's a
Oh
good
my
dog.
God. Oh
That's a
my God. See,
gorgeous.
Yeah.
this is what I want to do. I want to sit with
I
my
know, right?
friends and
Pictures of
talk
cats and
about
dogs,
cats and dogs.
and maybe a
Not if
horse
I,
once in a while. No.
yes. You know what my dream is, Lierre? That one day I can stop doing this work. I can
Yeah.
actually get a farm and rescue donkeys.
Yo, donkeys, they're so
I want to rescue
cute.
donkeys because nobody cares
Donkeys are
about
great. They're
donkeys.
so wonderful. They're
They're
so
so
funny, donkeys.
kind and funny and beautiful.
Oh,
Like, that's my goal. That's what's
you
keeping
want
me
a
alive at
donkey
this point.
rescue?
I'll
Yeah,
just get through this to have a donkey rescue sometime.
that sounds like a
I'll do.
plan.
I don't know if I answered your question, Callie, but
She
It's a
tried.
strange question to ask,
No,
but
it's
I
an
just wanted
interesting
to try.
question.
it was a good question.
It's
Yeah.
the
I appreciate you.
evil is in the air. It's good to
Yeah.
contemplate it sometimes. Like, what does it do to
Yeah.
us to be in the presence of it? It's very hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's, and I don't know, do I even believe in evil? But there are days when I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't
I
I
know what
do.
else to
just,
call it
I
anymore.
don't, what else do you call it when it's that depraved? I guess just like
Yeah.
sadism, sociopathy. Yeah, those words work, but I don't know. Some days it feels like its own force. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, so we've got one last question for you, Sarah, and then we will let you go. We know you've got all kinds of things to do out there, but Nancy.
First of all, I got to meet you last summer. I was at the
Hmm.
RadFem summer camp,
Summer camp.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and I got to read Yasmin's book, so I have a little idea. But it's, what strikes me about this is my only encounter with Iran. Really, it was back in 1968, attending like the International Student Club and meeting some men from Iran, and they were very charming, and it was just like, oh, these are really cool. And then how many years later then, all of a sudden I'm reading this news about this takeover, and but that's really all I know, you know, short of what you guys told me. So it's just it's like this whole blank. I mean, we don't study this. It's just it's just kind of like most of us are. Yeah. I don't want to be a anti-Muslim. I mean, that's the message in my little town is that it's just so it gets really confusing of just yeah what to even say or not say. But and we have women here in what's a hijab, and so it's sort of vaguely here in my little town of Corvallis. But I just was curious. It's just now I'm 77, so I'm just, I met these people. I mean, I met some people from Iran, and I mean, I assume they have a whole different worldview than the ones who, like, your age group that just grew up under this. They knew they were under the Shah. And now, is this what you're talking about? The Shah's son is the one who's trying to, yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't understand all of that. So
Yeah.
so it's like, yeah, that whole generation, there's people who were under the Shah who would be very
Yeah.
aware that life was very different back then.
Yeah.
So they're still around, right?
And they are romanticizing and they want to recycle. And there are like younger generation who want to like there are younger people my age or people younger than me who want to, because they're clinging on to anything that would give them hope at this point.
Hmm.
And they think that Pahlavi might be that hope. But at the same time, he has done absolutely nothing to prove it. It's just a romantic idea. And to me, people in Iran have been fighting for 47 years, more than 47 years, because the revolution was supposed to be a democracy, was supposed to be a secular democracy, and it was hijacked.
Mm.
They underestimated Islam and Muslims. The left underestimated Khomeini and Islam. And they thought he's going to be a guru, he's going to go sit in Rome, and he's going to be just a spiritual leader. They didn't know, they couldn't understand how brutal he would be.
Mhm.
Sorry, I cut you off. You were talking.
No, no, I'm just curious to, my tiny little exposure, and
Yeah.
and then it's like all of a sudden it became this closed off country, but yet I was very much instructed that I'm supposed to not say anything anti-Muslim. That's been real clear in my town,
Yeah.
and that our schools, let the girls wear the hijab, and so it's just I have this 50-year gap of like, and so yeah, so I just and so there are people who would be my age who would be for the Shah's son coming back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. But the good thing is that like they were able to study in the United States. They had a certain amount of freedom.
Yeah.
And the women were, I think, were dressed Western and stuff. So but you would be against that.
Because it's not all about how you dress, it's also about political freedom.
Mm,
And we did not have that under the Shah. That's why we
mm,
had the revolution. He
mm,
could not accept multiculturalism, multi-ideas. He would not accept any different political ideology that would oppose him. And they go out on the street now, supporters of his son, and they say, death to the left, death to the leftists. And I get death threats and rape threats because I'm not a Pahlavi supporter.
mm,
So even now that he's not in control, he's not in power, and his supporters are spreading
mm.
this fear that you cannot criticize him. And if he's a
That's
leader of the
interesting.
country and I can't criticize him, so what's the point? We already have one of those in Iran.
Right.
We had one
Right.
before him. Like his father was like that too. We couldn't criticize him either. So what's the point of that? You just want to have people murdered to swap your king? You're tired of the turban, you want a tiara now? I like that doesn't make sense to me. I think people in Iran deserve not to have, and I've said that a couple of times already, not recycled monarchy. We've
Mm,
had that already. We tried that already. They tried Islam in Iran for centuries. They forced us, they colonized us. We are trying to decolonize. So everything that the left stands for, we are trying to do in Iran. We are trying to decolonize ourselves. We are trying to fight imperialism. Just because it's not white people, they can't grasp the idea. And Nancy said something also about anti-Muslim. Here's the thing, anti-Muslim bigotry exists. It's a valid issue. Muslims can learn to deal with the bigotry that they face, just as lesbians have to learn to deal with the bigotry that they face. I don't know, women have to learn to deal with the bigotry that they face and fight it in a normal, modern, understandable in the West kind of way. Not like, shut up, don't talk about it.
mm,
You're not allowed to criticize us because you are offending us and I can't accept it. Islamophobia just cuts off any form of valid criticism. Tells me I cannot criticize my own religion, I cannot criticize child marriage, FGM, I don't know, inheritance of everything in half, the blood money being half, having a male guardian that makes decisions for me. Like all of these things. Why am I not allowed to talk?
She froze.
mm,
Let's give it a sec. I bet she comes back. There we go.
Lierre? I think I
Yeah, you froze for a sec, but you're back.
got.
mm.
I can see her. Her face is moving a little.
Why is this pausing?
There we
Sorry.
go. Your internet connection was a little bit unstable. It would stutter throughout the whole thing, but this one was the biggest little gap, so we may have to just sort of cut that out. Uh-oh, she's frozen again. Well, we've probably used up as much internet as we're gonna get. I don't know how it works. It seems like she's really stuck. So, I guess we'll just let everybody go. And if you were somebody who spoke in the questions, so that would be Callie, Nancy, and Emily, I need to hear from you that you're okay putting this up online or not, because I can cut out your question and your face and all that and just have, we'll just go to the next one. If you're fine with it, that's great. If you don't want to be on the final version that's public, that is totally fine. So you just let me know what you want to do, and then we'll put it up online. So that sounds great. So thanks everybody for being here. Let's see what else we can do for the women of Iran. Um, there's got to be something. I just can't feel. There just has to be something, right? It can't. We can't be this powerless in the world. There has to be something we can do. So,
It's
um,
like The Handmaid's
yeah,
Tale in real life.
no,
It's so,
yeah, it is. It is
so
literally.
insane.
Yeah, I know, and they
Yeah.
need our help. So we've got to find things to do. So,
And
all
you're
right,
okay to use
everybody.
me, just not my face, because I don't have any makeup on and I'm really vain.
You look beautiful. You look good. It's
No.
very inspiring to see women without makeup on. It gives the
Yeah,
rest of
Lyra,
us
it's
a little
just
more
fine.
room to not have to do it.
Lyra, it's
Yeah.
fine to
But you
use
can use my
whatever.
name and
I
my
see.
voice, but if you could put like, I don't know, something over my face, because I don't know. Try not
You
to
look
die alone, even
great.
though that's pretty much the plan. Mm.
All right, everybody. We'll see you around. See you at the front. Okay.
Okay.
Bye.